Okay, so we have 1/3 milk, 1/3 oats. Now to that, I'm going to add chia seeds. This is 1 teaspoon of chia seeds. So chia seeds are great. They work magic overnight and they help make the oats expand. And chia seeds have a lot of great benefits. They're great for helping you feel fuller, and they have a lot of antioxidant properties. So chia seeds is a great option. So I added that. I'm going to add a little vanilla. This is 1 teaspoon of vanilla that I'm adding. And to that, I'm going to add some mashed bananas. So this is the sweetener of choice that I use, but you can use maple syrup. You can use anything that you like. I chose to use mashed bananas. So I took a very ripe banana and I just mashed half of it. This is half. A whole one won't fit in the jar, so this is half of a mashed banana. It's best to have them when they're speckled, and they mash up really nicely. Now to this, I'm going to give it a stir. Let me get my spoon. I'm going to give this a stir around. Make sure everything gets blended. I can smell the banana. Oh, I also had a touch of cinnamon that I could add. So let me add a little cinnamon. About 1/4 teaspoon. Smells good. So now on top of this, you can put berries, you can put nuts. Here I have a little mix. These are slivered almonds. I'm putting that on top, and I have some blueberries. So I'm gonna put the blueberries and the almonds on top. All right, one more. And so it looks like this now. I'm gonna put a cap on it. Did everybody see? This is what it looks like. Everything is stirred, and I'm gonna put a cap on it. Now these caps I like because you can actually date them, or you can take a Post-it note and date them. So if you do make them in advance and you do 5 of these, you could date the date that you made them, or you could put Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever you like. So these stay in your refrigerator for a week. So you can do 5 at a time. So say it's a Sunday, say it's a Sunday and you want to get ready for the week. So this is one thing that you can do, and you see how fast it was. So in the morning, all you have to do is empty this into a bowl, stir it up a little. If you feel that you need some more milk, add some more milk to it. And if you feel you need a little bit more sweetener, you can add maple syrup. You can add whatever you want. You can add raisins. You can add maple syrup, anything that you'd like. To strawberries, blueberries, dates, whatever you want. Run wild with your imagination. And you put it into the microwave and you stir it up and you're good to go. So you can take these to work with you. You can do them at work if you have a microwave at work. So you don't have to use a microwave. You can heat this up in a pot, whatever works for you. So this is one great option for breakfast. And I'm going to pause because I did a lot of talking. Any questions or comments about the overnight oats?
No.
No? Okay. Does anybody think they're going to try it?
I'm going to try it that way, but I always do it the other way. I have my NutriBullet, and I do it like that real quick.
Okay. All right. So you just do it in the morning at one shot. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So great. So this is the first breakfast option that I wanted to talk about. Another breakfast option is omelet in a jar. So we're going to make an omelet in a mason jar. And I prepped all the ingredients. So, all right. So this is interesting. So I cook for some people, and they didn't want to cook. I make the overnight oats for them, but they wanted me to make some eggs. And I said, okay. So I said, I can make them in a jar, and you just crack the egg open and put it in a skillet and heat it up. They said, no cooking. So you do have to cook a little bit with this one, but I'm going to show you how it's really easy to make these. So first I'm going to spray the inside of the jar with some cooking oil. And this is so that when you take out your ingredients, they slide right off. Okay, so that's the first step. Next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add about a quarter cup of ingredients, whatever ingredients you like. Let your imagination run wild. So I have some, let me move this down. I have some spinach. This is just baby spinach that I got. I rinsed it and put it in here. So I have some spinach. And I made some turkey bacon and I just cut it up. So you can add some turkey bacon to it. This is uncured turkey bacon that I just made on the stove. Then this is some shredded cheese. This is shredded Parmesan. This is actually vegan, but you can use any kind of cheese that you like, if you like cheese. And something that I just discovered that really gives the eggs a kick, I put some salsa. So this is like Pico de Gallo salsa. I have a little of that. I'm gonna add it to my jar. And last but not least, I have some more cheese in there. Okay. And last but not least, what I did was I whisked one egg. And if you like, you can use egg whites if you prefer that. And that's already in liquid form. So I whisked one egg and I'm gonna put it on top. So now I personally would like to wait to the last minute to crack my egg, but some people want it that. So this will stay in the refrigerator for 3 days, up to 3 days. And so this is your omelet in a jar, has all of your ingredients. I'm gonna put a lid. If you want, you can put a little salt and pepper, or you can wait. And when you're ready to eat, you just put this into a pan with a little butter or olive oil, and you can make your own omelet in a jar. And this could stay in the refrigerator up to 3 days. Any thoughts about omelet in a jar? Any questions? Okay.
No, it's a really good idea.
Okay.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, so try it and let me know what you think. Now they say that you can actually put it in the microwave, but I tried it. I didn't like the way it came out. I like it better in
Oh, for real?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what they say. They say
that's
that
how I used to make mine. Yeah.
and it came out good.
Yeah, I would get the egg, I would scramble, I'll put my milk, my cheese or whatever in it, scramble it. But the thing of it is that I found out that works for me is like the square kind of like plastic bowl, the little plastic, and I put it in there and I put it in the microwave for about 2 minutes and it comes out fluffy
Oh,
and
nice.
everything.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
try.
So now with the way that you did it in the microwave, so you stir the ingredients first.
Yes, I stir it first.
Okay, now you did it the night before, or you did it on the spot?
I just do it all together.
Okay.
Yeah. I mix it all together into the egg and put all the ingredients and everything in the bowl. Then I put the egg and I scramble it and then I put it in the microwave.
Okay, so you scramble everything together and then put it in. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, the idea that they had here was that you shake up the jar and then you cover the top with paper towel and you put it on high for 3 minutes. But I tried that way. I like your way better. That sounds much better the way you did.
Yeah.
Describe
Yeah,
it.
and I never do 3 minutes because to be honest with the egg, I think if you do 3 minutes, it'll overcook the egg. So the longest I've ever done is 2 minutes. That's tops 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. So that may make a difference too, because following that recipe, I didn't like it. So I put it in the pan and it came out nicely. So thank you for that tip. I'm going to try it that way. So 2 minutes in the microwave.
All right.
So, all right. All right. We're on to our third breakfast option. And they are no-bake peanut butter oatmeal bars. Okay. So if you notice, we're using the same ingredients. And I do that on purpose because when you go grocery shopping, you don't have to buy a lot of things. You can use the same ingredients for different options. So we going to make these no-bake bars with a little bit coconut milk, some raisins, some honey, cinnamon. Now this is nut butter, sun nut butter that I use because my husband is allergic to peanut butter. You can use whatever you want. You can use almond butter, cashew butter. You can use peanut butter, whatever you like. But I use sunflower seed spread, not sun butter, sunflower seed spread. And it tastes just like peanut butter. So, and again, my rolled oats. So I bought rolled oats and I could use it for this recipe and also for the overnight oats. So this is 4 cups of rolled oats. This is 1.5 cups of peanut butter, or sorry, sunflower butter. Take that off. And I have, this is 3/4 of a cup of raisins, and you can use any kind of raisins. And this is my coconut milk. So the coconut milk was very smooth, but in the case that you get coconut milk and you open the can and it is very clumpy, you can use a hand mixer and mix it until smooth. But this one came out very smooth. So I just gave it a stir. Okay, so I'm gonna move my camera and add all of these ingredients to my bowl. So the first thing that I'm going to start out with is the coconut milk. So I'm going to add that. It's nice and creamy. Next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to drizzle in the honey. Okay. And this is 3 tablespoons of honey. Okay. So just drizzle that in. Out a little bit. Okay. And the next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to pour in the oats and the raisins. Okay. So again, this is 4 cups of rolled oats. So I'm going to stir as I pour it in. So oats are a great way to start your breakfast. And some people, if you have a gluten intolerance, I look for the ones that are gluten-free. So these are gluten-free oats. They help lower cholesterol. They have a lot of fiber. They keep you fuller longer. So this is a great option. I'm going to stir a little bit more now. All right. Gets a little harder to stir the more oats you add, but just continue to whirl it around. Okay, that's it. Okay, continue to stir. Okay, now I'm gonna start to add the raisins. So if you don't like raisins, you can add cherries, you can add cranberries, dried blueberries, anything that you like, or you don't have to use any at all. So I made this for a friend and she doesn't like raisins, so I put dried blueberries. Okay, so these are the raisins that I chose. All right. Okay, so I'm just gonna continue to stir this. So the great things about these recipes is you can modify them to your own taste. for your own preferences. So get creative. All right, I'm gonna add a little bit of the cinnamon. Okay, and now I'm gonna add the peanut butter. Keep calling it peanut butter, sunflower butter. Now the sunflower butter that I use 1.5 cups. So if you don't like the taste of nut butter, then you can add less. So, but it's gonna help keep everything together. Okay. My next step is to get a pan, a 9x13 pan, and you can line it with parchment paper or you can line it with foil. And you're gonna need to line it with something so that after these set, you're able to easily take them out and put them onto a cutting board and cut. So okay, I'm gonna get my I'm gonna get my pan. Okay, so I lined it with foil. So, and now I'm just gonna pour in the mixture into the pan. So you can use your fingers if you want. You can use a spoon, but you wanna cover the entire pan and then you're gonna press it down until the top is flat.
I was gonna ask you, do you have to add foil if you use a glass pan?
You should use some kind of liner just to make it easy to take it out. But if you have you're not gonna bake this. It's a no bake, but you're gonna put it in the refrigerator. So when it hardens,
Okay.
it's a little difficult to move out. Yeah, but you could definitely use a glass pan. But I would recommend lining it.
Okay.
Yeah. So. So I'm gonna let it set. All right. Just gonna mash everything down. So you're gonna cover this. You can cover this with plastic wrap. So I usually cover with plastic wrap, and then I could even put one of these covers on. And if you don't want this much, you can make you can use an 8x8 pan. So this goes into the fridge. And when it comes out of the fridge, this is what it looks like. So it needs to sit in the fridge for at least 2 hours, but it's better overnight. So let me lower this a little bit. So this is what it looks like. So I cut, this yields 12 bars. And so I cut them. And so, yeah.
That looks good.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's good. So this is filling. So now I don't like peanut butter, so I don't eat them, but my husband, I tell him, okay, this is 1 bar, is 1 serving, but he eats about 2 or 3 at one shot, so I have to hide them. But this is 1 serving. So yeah, so full of so I'll give you a little bit of the nutritional history. So 1 breakfast bar has 385 calories, 6 grams of sugar, and that was just from the honey that I used and the raisins. And it has how many? 7 grams of fat. So, and that's from the natural fat of peanut. So that's another breakfast choice. So any comments or questions about?
No, that's good. That's good. Now, I wrote everything down, so I'm gonna try all these.
Okay, good. Now, when I first saw the recipe, it had said to add the nut butter to the coconut milk and stir, but I found it was very difficult to stir in the oatmeal. So, but you try it that way and see which is easier, but I find it easier to do it in the reverse. So, but just letting you know, that's how the recipe was designed. And also the recipe actually has 5 cups of oats, but it was much too much. So I made it 4. And the original recipe also had, it had 8 ounces of coconut milk. It wasn't enough because 8 ounces of coconut milk and they wanted 5 cups of rolled oats. The measurements were off. So I kind of tweaked it to what I had just said. So I used 1 full can of full fat coconut milk, 3 tablespoons of honey, 1.5 cups of peanut butter or nut butter, whatever you prefer, a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. I use 4 cups of old-fashioned rolled oats and 2/3 of a cup of raisins. So
it's 1 can of coconut milk, 1 can.
1 full can, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so, okay. So, any questions?
This is good. Yeah, thank you. Very nice.
Okay, so now we're on to lunch. All right. So, what I want to show you how to make today is to prep a few different ingredients, and you can kind of mix and match them for the week. So I'm going to start by making some cauliflower rice. So anybody a fan of cauliflower rice? Have you ever tried it? What are your thoughts?
I like it, but I don't know if I like the texture. Sometimes it seems too soft. So how do I get it a little bit more crunchy?
Okay, so I'm going to show you. So I'm going to take out my pan. So I like cauliflower rice, but I had to experiment with a lot of different versions of how to make it. Because as Sandrine says, the texture is off because it's definitely not rice, but we want it to mimic rice as much as possible. But it's a great alternative if you are trying to lose weight. So, because cauliflower rice is a vegetable, but it gives you the appearance of rice and it's very filling. And I'm going to just show you what you can do with it. So I'm going to start by just heating my pan, put a little oil in the pan. All right. Oh, move this down so you can see. So I'm just gonna add about 2 tablespoons of oil. And I'm gonna use a little seasoning. I'm using something called Spike. This is a gourmet seasoning. Now this does have sea salt in it. So there's a version that just has no salt, no sodium. So it's in a blue bottle. So, but I'm using a little bit. So just heat up my pan a little bit. And I'm I'm going to get out the cauliflower. Now, cauliflower rice, you can actually make it by taking cauliflower and putting it into the food processor, or you can use a grater, like a cheese grater, and you can actually make it. I cheated. I got the already made cauliflower rice already chopped. So I'm using this, and then I'm going to add to it. Oh, wait, before I put that in, I wanted to show you. Oh, where are my veggies? Okay. So what I did was, I'm gonna cook the veggies first. I was ahead of myself. So I used a chopper. This is also something great. I'm gonna show you a chopper to save time if you don't feel like chopping. So this is just onions and peppers. I have red peppers and yellow peppers, a little. So I'm gonna saute these. That's my first step. I want to show you what I use to chop it, because a lot of times when people don't feel like chopping vegetables, and I've been guilty of that, it seems like so much work. It kind of derails our healthy eating plans. But if you prep your veggies at the beginning of the week and you store them in jars, it's a great option. So let me show you my chopper while this is sauteing. So I got this brand of chopper. I'm moving this up a little bit. But you can use any of them. So you can have this size, or you can do smaller, and you just use whatever insert you want, and you put the pepper or the onion or whatever it is face down, and then you chop. And I'm using, and then you chop it, and it's collected in this bottom. So, and to take it out, you just lift up this lid. So it's easy if you're not in the mood for chopping. For the most part, chopping is therapeutic for me, but you know, sometimes if you're pressed for time. So I'm just gonna wait till these soften. I see that the onions are translucent. You could also add a clove of minced garlic if you like. Okay. Now I'm gonna add the cauliflower rice to this. This is half a bag. I used the other half before, so it yields a lot of our rice mixture. So I'm just gonna saute this. Now to this, I also like to add some frozen peas, which I'm gonna grab in a second. Just continue to saute. I'm gonna lower mine a little bit. So I'm gonna get the peas. I forgot about my peas. So these are just frozen peas. You can use fresh. I sometimes forget. So these are just small peas. I'm just gonna add a little bit to it. This is frozen. All right. Just a little bit of peas, nice coloring. But again, you could use fresh. You could also use corn. So My husband doesn't like corn too much, but you could use corn, add that to it. Anything you like. Broccoli. But this gives it a nice color. And then my other secret to use, some people use tamari sauce. That gives it a nice flavor. But I use coconut aminos. I don't know if you've ever heard about this coconut aminos. So this is a great replacement for soy. It's a great alternative. And this has 73% less sodium than soy. And so I like this, coconut aminos. They make them a lot of different brands. So it's a soy-free alternative to soy sauce, less sodium. And the ingredients are organic coconut tree sap. So it doesn't necessarily taste like coconut, but it gives you a nice flavor, just like soy sauce. So I always try to find ways to cut down on sodium and increase flavor at the same time. So I'm just gonna add a little bit. It's a great marinade too. I use it for fish and chicken. So, my cauliflower rice is smelling good. All right. So you can also you can make a big pot of rice if that's what you want to make. You can make a big pot of quinoa. You can make a big pot of couscous, whatever you like. But I'm using this for the week to cut down on carbs, but add a lot of nutrients and flavors. So this is done. So I'm gonna put this to the side and we're gonna come back to this later when we create our meals for the week. So I'm gonna turn this off. All right, because I have to get something else. I'm gonna move this whole thing to the side. Move it behind me. All right, and I'm gonna keep it on warm. All right, so it's on warm, and I'm gonna get my next pot. So the other thing that I wanna make for our lunch/dinner meal when we prep for the week is kale. So where are my kale lovers? Do I have any kale lovers out there? So
Over here, I love kale.
I love kale. I do it in my smoothies.
Oh yeah. So kale is a true superfood. So it has lots of antioxidants and a lot of fiber, and so it's great. I put it in my smoothies as well in the morning. It's very versatile. You could use it for a lot of different things. So I wash the kale and cut the stems, and so this is equivalent of 1 bag of kale. So it's gonna cook down though when we start cooking it. So some people, you could use it raw if you like in a salad, and if you want to, you can actually massage it with a little salt, which will bring out the natural flavor and juices and soften it a little bit. But I'm gonna cook it. I cook it with a little olive oil. You could also use grapeseed oil, whatever you like. But I'm gonna cook the olive oil and use it as a base. So another thing that I use a lot, I freeze my onions. After I chop them or dice them, I freeze them. So these were in the freezer. So I knew we were having the demonstration today, but these are yellow, red, green peppers, and onions. So I'm gonna add that to my pot to begin. Again, I'm gonna put a little of this as the base seasoning. Then we're gonna add some other seasoning later. All right. So gonna wait for this to warm up, and then we're gonna add this mixture. Any questions about the cauliflower rice while we're waiting for the pot to warm?
How long you gotta cook that for?
So cauliflower rice?
Yes.
I would say about 7 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. But you'll know. You can taste it and
Yes.
see the texture that you want.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Somebody just said they had to go. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining us. All right.
One question.
Yeah.
I have used what do you call that? Chicken broth to
Yes.
cook down my cauliflower rice. Okay.
Yes. That's what we're going to be using. I have some in here. Yeah, we're going to be using
Perfect.
that. Yeah. So, and it gives a little flavor as opposed to just water. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. It's a great alternative. All right. Look at my spoons. All right. All right, it smells good in here. All right. Now, another thing that you can add, but my husband doesn't like it, but I like it, tomatoes. But have you ever used tomatoes in your kale? I find it gives it a nice.
No, not in my kale. I've used onion and garlic.
Okay, yeah. Oh, thank you for reminding me. I have some garlic. So I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of minced garlic. Thank you for reminding me. Let me move this down. All right. So these onions and peppers are fragrant, translucent. Move this down a little bit. And now I'm gonna add my garlic. Cook that for about 30 seconds. And now I'm gonna add the kale. I'm gonna add it, it's a big bowl. All right, I'm gonna add it little by little and saute it. And this really cooks down quickly. You have a big bowl in the beginning and then you'll see that it shrinks down. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm gonna add the rest in. Okay. Here.
You can't do it with spinach. It has to be kale.
Oh, sure. Well, with kale, you can definitely add any vegetable you want. So, and spinach cooks quickly. So it'll shrivel down and cook very quickly. So yeah, you can saute kale. That's great.
Okay.
And it's really whatever you won't get tired of in a week. So say you meal prep for 3 or 4 days, something that you'll enjoy eating each day. So, but you can definitely, if you don't like kale, you can have anything, collards, you can have spinach, you could have mixed vegetables, anything that you like. The main thing is that you cook it in advance, and you want it to be something that's filling and good for you and hearty, so that, but not too filling to the point that you feel lethargic after work. How many of you have been at work and you ate a big lunch and you didn't feel like doing anything later? I've been there. So this is a great way to fill you up, but it gives you energy. Okay, so now, like Sandrine said, I'm gonna add a little bit of, this is vegetable broth.
Vegetable one?
Vegetable, but you can use anything. You can use chicken stock, you can use anything.
Okay.
I just used the vegetable broth. And now I'm gonna put a lid on it. And if I can find my lid, okay, here it is. All right, so, and just check on this. So I have this is a 6-quart, so it has the different numbers. So this is electric, so this is on 200. So I'm just gonna keep it on here and it's gonna continue to cook down. And so, and while that's cooking, I wanna show you some of the things that I do. So I invested in a lot of mason jars and a lot of these containers. So, and this is how I prep for the week. So I get these containers. You could get these in Costco or BJ's. They have about 25 for about $8. And you could probably find it even cheaper somewhere else. I also buy a lot of these because they have the compartments. So sometimes, you know, we tend to overeat. So buying these kind of portion control plates, this is an easy way to make sure that you don't overdo it in one area. So you have your protein, your carb, your dessert, whatever you want. So I use these sometimes. But today I'm just going to use this container. And also wanted to show you a couple of other things while it's cooking. To store my produce, I use these containers. These are by a woman named Debbie Meyer, but you can find any of them. And so what I like about them is that it keeps your produce fresh for up to 3 weeks. And so I like to use these because a lot of times when you prep and you buy stuff and it goes bad, if say you want to do a big shop and then you're not able to prep everything at once, this will solve that problem and keep your produce fresh. Also, I wanted to show you, this is called a blue ball. The reason why the fruits and vegetables spoil is because I think it's called ethylene gas that is released. So I put this has a little gadget in the inside, and this prevents the formation of the gas from making your food spoil quickly. So you put that in your crisper. And then this is something else. This is a silicone ice tray. I use this and I freeze. I make sofrito. I make my seasoning beforehand, and then I put it in here and freeze it. So when I'm
I
ready,
do the same thing.
Hmm?
I do the same thing. My sofrito, I put it in that.
Yeah, right. Isn't it great?
Easy, just pop it up and that's it.
Yep, you just pop it right out. So so these are just things that you could do ahead of time. So okay, so our kale is cooking down, smelling good. Another thing that I sometimes add is I add chickpeas to this. So you can do that. So it's about ready. So I usually like to cook it until the stems that are in there are very soft. But everybody has their desired level of texture. So now another thing that I made was chicken breast. So I make this ahead of time, and you can make all of your proteins in advance. So I made some chicken breast, and I use the chicken tenders, and I made these. And so I have these so I can add them, but you can mix and match your proteins. So maybe you make some shrimp, maybe you make some chicken, maybe you make some turkey meat or some ground beef, whatever it is. You make it beforehand, and then you can think of creative ways to use it. So for example, with ground beef, one day you can have chili, but you can use that same ground beef to make tacos. So you can mix and match using a variety of different proteins and then add them to our base, which would be the kale in this case. If you want spinach, that's fine as well. And then the cauliflower rice. So my kale is about done, smelling good. Let me show you. And so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take my bowl and I'm going to add the kale on the bottom. Yeah, that's smelling good. All right. So I'm gonna add my kale on the bottom. And so this one bag is good for about 2 to 3 servings. So I have my peppers and my onion. So that's going to be on the bottom. Then I'm going to add to it my cauliflower rice. And then I'm going to add to it my chicken breast. Okay. And then you could also add to this, if you want, for a little color, some corn. You could add black beans. But this could be one lunch for one day, and put a lid on it, put it in the fridge, and you can do this with the remainder of the kale and the cauliflower rice, and then you can mix and match. Say you've made fish, say you've made shrimp, you can mix and match your different proteins, and you can create something for the week. So I just wanted to just show you some different ways to kind of think outside the box and think about ways in which you can accomplish your health goals by just planning ahead, taking one day out of the week, maybe it's a Saturday, a Sunday, and you can do all of this in less than an hour. So, but I did prep my veggies beforehand, so it may take you a little bit longer, but just something to think about. Any questions, any thoughts?
No, this is all good. I'm already hungry.
Me too. Me too.
Everything really looks good, so I'm about to try that.
Okay.
Yep.
Great.
I'm gonna try all of them. I wrote everything down. I'm gonna try all of them.
Okay, well, great. Try it and let me know what you think. So,
Yeah.
comments or questions. And then I didn't do dessert, but another thing, or snacks, another thing that you can do is, I love these jars. You can take a mason jar, and I cut up pineapple. I cut the stalks. I cut off the skin, and I just put pineapples in here, and they keep pretty nicely. And I put blueberries, and so it's a quick snack on the go. You can have this with you. So yeah, think about anything, and think about how you can kind of reuse the same. Oh, I forgot one more thing. I also prep my salads. So this is in salad. This is a 48-ounce salad bowl. I like a lot of salad. Okay. So, but I prep this in advance, and I added to this. This is another protein you could add. I sliced a hard-boiled egg. Just use the egg slicer. And in here, I have cucumber, tomatoes, peppers, chickpeas, carrots, and I have mixed greens. And you can use the spinach that we had for our omelet. You can use this as the base for your salad, raw spinach salad, which is good as well. So to this, you can add the chicken, right? I can add some of the chicken to this. And then this is a great option for lunch. So you can prep ahead. I say the salad should last no more than 2-3 days, because before it gets wilted. And then I wouldn't actually put anything hot on it. I would put that separately so that it would keep. But this is another option. And then sometimes you can actually put all these ingredients in a jar, a mason jar, and they call it a mason jar salad. So I like to keep it in a bowl though. So those are just some ideas that I had that I wanted to share with you that have helped me. So, and I hope that you'll let me know if you try it, that it was helpful to you too.
Thank you. This is very nice.
Yes, it was very helpful. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for being
help.
here and participating.
This is very helpful.
Thanks.
Yep.
Awesome. Any more questions for Keri while we have her? And I just want to know, everybody feel free, to play with these recipes. Keri gave us so many different options and what we can and cannot do. And, replacement, substitute, take out nuts, add dates, add raisins, things like that, and make it your own. Use your own flavors from home, because we got to make it taste good too, right? Not just healthy, but it also tastes good.
Yes. That's very important. And that's the reason why a lot of diets fail, because people don't like to eat the celery and the cottage cheese all the time. But there are a lot of great things that you can eat that will help you to accomplish your goals. So like Sandrine said, think outside the box and be experimental. Get out of your comfort zone and try things that are new. So,
And where can we find more recipes from you, Keri?
oh, my website, it's empoweredlivingnyc.com. EMPOWEREDLIVINGNYC.com. Thank you for asking.
Awesome. And I just put it in the chat. I should have gotten everything right. So
Yep.
if you want to check out more information from Keri, recipes, tips, healthy living, wellness tips, definitely check out her website. It is empoweredlivingnyc.com. Keri, we can't thank you enough for just, coming out and helping us with meal prepping options for our week. You've given us breakfast, you've given us dessert, and all within an hour, we were able to kind of get all of this together. So it definitely seems doable to me. I hope it seems doable to you guys. Give it a try. Let us know how it works for you. And we'd love to hear back from you guys in the near future. Keri, we'd love to have you again in the near future, maybe for a holiday treat coming up. Valentine's Day is coming. We also want to, make some sweet treats and healthy sweet treats at that. So we'd love to have you back. So thank you everyone for joining us today. We can't thank you enough for participating with us. Look out for more text messages, more info on our events Facebook group, and join us for our next upcoming event very soon. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Be healthy, safe, and well.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Yeah.